Welcome back. Welcome back.
My guy trying some new stuff. Wow.
Yeah, man. Welcome back, y'all. Welcome back to another episode. We're here for the Who Asked Y'all To podcast. Back, fresh from a holiday break. Your boys are back in town. Your good brother Chris Porter on this side. I got my fellow brother on the other side, M.Dot. We here, man. We here. It's been a little minute since we jumped on to record. We appreciate everybody. We appreciate all the messages that everybody asking us what's up with the episodes, where y'all at, what's going on. How you feeling, bro?
I'm feeling great, bro. I'm feeling good. You know, God is good. Family's good.
Amen.
Health is going well. Can't call it, and all my brothers, all my boys is good. So I can't even get mad at that, man. Everybody's doing well. Can't get mad at that. And then just to let the audience know, I don't know if the audience knows, but I'm Haitian. So I have a family member that just came. You know, shout out to Biden for the parole program. My cousin, he got through. He just came. I want to say he's been here for a couple weeks now. He got granted temporary parole for 2 years to be paroled, and he can get like Social Security. He can get benefits. He can work. You know, everything goes well with that. He can apply for naturalization and then work on to get his citizenship. So that's the goal within the 2 years, trying to get him to that status to where even if he has to go back, he's going back with a lot more knowledge of America than what he had to before. You know, a lot of times those guys, you know, back home, they think everything money. You're making a lot of money in here, blah blah blah. But it's not the case. Like America, you come here, you're gonna work. Like you're not gonna sit around and get money and you got to do something. You know, especially it's a little harder because you don't got no paperwork. You're gonna have to do some under the table type of things. You're gonna have to do odd jobs here and there to get a little bit of money before you get approved to actually, you know, do some real work. So, I'm happy he's here, man. He's a good dude, good fellow. Any of the single ladies out there, you know, my cousin's single. He's 40, 81, so he's like 40 something. Good like, guy, great dude. Yeah, has an accent and everything, you know, so he can really sweep y'all off your feet. So hit us up in the Who Asked Y'all To Instagram if you guys want to date my cousin. Definitely put him on, and you know, we can do what to do.
Hey, we might even set something up where we might post this picture, let the ladies, you know what I mean? Check out cuz, man. Fresh over. So, you know, we got to. It's only right.
Fact. Shout out to my cousin Wobo. You know, his name is a mouthful, but it's Robo So shout out to my big cuz, man. But
shout out to big cuz, man. Congratulations on making it over, man.
Yeah. What about you, bro? What's going on with you? Anything new?
Man, I don't know if the viewers can tell, but I cleaned up a little bit. Had to shave the beard off.
Why'd you do that?
Cut my beard off. Hey, man. I was just feeling frisky one day. Yo, man, I don't know. I like the goatee look, man. I'm feeling the goatee right now. Just wanted a little bit of a little boost, you know what I mean? And part of that was just cleaning up my look a little bit. The beard has always been my little signature for the past couple of years, and it got real thick on me. Pause. But
emphasis on the pause.
But I had to go ahead and switch it up right quick. Just was feeling it. Just was feeling something new. So I ain't rocked the goatee in a little while. So it was just something I was just feeling one day. But yeah, man, I'm good. Everything is great. We back from a Thanksgiving holiday. Christmas is right around the corner. How was your Thanksgiving, man?
Thanksgiving was good, bro. With the family, we ended up going to two different Thanksgiving. So my in-laws had a Thanksgiving at their crib. We ate over there. They had turkey, cranberry sauce. What else did they have? Broccoli casserole, ham, corn. I'm trying to think what else they had. They had banana bread. Not banana bread, banana pudding. All these different type of foods and everything like that. And then when we got done over there, we went to my aunt's house, and she had a Thanksgiving over there. But we came late because black folks don't know how to communicate. Like nobody know how to communicate with nobody. Like everybody knew I was going to my in-laws first Thanksgiving. Usually they'll let me know. Like usually when we have a Thanksgiving at my mother's house, that thing don't start until 7, 8 o'clock at night because they take a long time. But this year my aunt was in charge of it, and she's very prompt. Like she wanted to get the food done 4:30, 5 o'clock because her son worked late nights. He worked overnight at Christiana Hospital. So she wanted to make sure he got his food. So by the time he woke up to go to work, the food was already done. He was good to go. Right. So when we got there, I got there at like 7:45. I'm thinking, like, oh, hey, party time. Let's get it. I'm ready. Get the dominoes. I'm ready. Man, I get there. It's quiet as a mouse. Everybody done sleep, or they left for the night. I'm at my aunt's crib. She packed up all the food. I'm like, where? I'm like, what's happening? That's never happened before to where like I missed Thanksgiving at my mother's or my aunt's crib. So it was kind of weird, but then again, it was a little bit of a learning experience. Like as you get older, you got your family, you got one family want to do one thing, the other family want to do one thing, and it's kind of like you really got to be on point with trying to navigate. All right, how much time I'm spending here, how much time I'm spending there? Because when you don't do that or the communication is lacking, you're gonna be stuck at one family house for a long time, and then you go to the other family house, you ain't gonna have everybody already been left, everybody been gone.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's definitely a learning experience. I got a question. So I spent Thanksgiving at my aunt's house, the way you were supposed to. I was the first one there this year, so literally it was my first time being the first person to show up at Thanksgiving. So I was loving that because I got to eat before it.
I'm shocked.
I was loving it, bro. I was loving it. I'm like, bruh, I by the time everybody got there, I was damn near done. Like I was like, man, I'm cooked.
You stuffed.
Bro. And you know when you start throwing them back, then you really man, I was in a good spot. But my question was because it got brought up to me this year, and it was in jest, it was tongue in cheek. But the idea was proposed to me of me hosting Thanksgiving next year, and I was taken aback because I'm like, whoa, I don't know if I'm ready for the responsibility of hosting the whole thing yet. Have you and the missus hosted yet?
I'm trying to think. Did we host a Thanksgiving? We might have like a few years ago, if my memory serves me correct. But that it is a big responsibility. That's not a faint of heart thing. I think if you're gonna do that, because it is your crib, it's you in there by yourself. I would say, get all hands on deck. Like if you're gonna host it, get your demands out early. Like, yo, listen, I'm hosting it this year. Everybody come through, blah, blah, blah. But here's the rules. Like, everybody got to be in my crib early. You're going to help me cook. It ain't going to just be me. I need help. I need assistance. Everybody's going to contribute in some type of way or fashion. Because the same thing kind of happened to me. I didn't host it, but I helped cook all the food with my mother and my aunt. Like, I went over there bright and early, like 5 a.m. to my mother's crib last year. Helped to cook the turkey, the rice, the mac and cheese, everything. Like, and we got done at a good time. I think we got done around 5 or 6 o'clock. But I was cooking all day from 5 a.m. to damn near 4 or 5 o'clock. So it's a grueling thing. Like it's not easy to do all that.
Yeah.
Like it's really not. So I would say, and they always say, you do things like that, you're always gonna be given something back in tenfold. That's the thing. You give back, you're gonna get something in return. So I think if you're gonna do it in the goodness of your heart, bro, just have your rules and figure out who's gonna be assisting you. And if it comes to a point where like, oh damn, nobody helped me, all right, I ain't doing this. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. And then a lot of people they'll do one thing people do, they'll do a catered Thanksgiving. Like they'll have all the food brought to them. They'll have the joint catered up. They'll have a turkey, stuffing, mac and cheese, mashed potatoes, everything like that. They'll do it from a catering business, and they'll bring the food. So I mean, that's another way, but everybody got to contribute some type of funds in there because that can be pretty costly, especially if you got a big family.
Yeah, I'm gonna just in case any of the fam is watching this episode, I'm just gonna put it out there now. We're leaning towards me not hosting. I'm not. Listen, I'm one man. You know what I mean? But I don't know. We'll see. We still got a whole year between now and then, so you never know.
But even if though, bro, even if it was like yo, y'all can just do it at my crib, but I ain't doing all the cooking. If everybody come to the crib and I mean, I'll buy some things and this and the third, but the cooking I can't. I'm not doing it. You can do that. You can just offer your crib up.
Yeah, for sure. And I definitely don't mind that because family is family. I love my fam. You know what I mean? So they welcome anytime. But if they listen, like you said, black folks don't communicate, man. Black folks late to everything.
I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Like another like another thing, right? And this is for my family. Like I sent a text message out, right? Because my one family that lives in Massachusetts, they coming down for New Year's, and usually how it goes, New Year's Eve, I always spend it with my in-laws. But this year, my cousin from Massachusetts is coming down, so I'm like, dang, she never come down. I gotta bust it up with her. That's like my first cousin. God damn it! So my first cousin. Every time this shit come up, man. So we I told her, I said, listen, I was like, I'll send out a text message. We can do like the actual like a New Year's party, a New Year's thing, at my mother's crib. And we'll do it like this, where we'll play games, we'll have food and everything like that. And we'll even do like the shirts thing, because usually that's what we do at my in-laws. We'll do the shirts, play games and all that. So I'm trying to like do a little replica of that, right? So I sent a text message out to all the people in the family, like my older cousins, my older brother and everybody. I'm like, yo, I'm trying to do something for New Year's. Is anybody trying to contribute? Like, what we doing? Like, are y'all with it? Y'all not with it? I got one response out of that text message. You know who that response is from? My cousin that's coming from Massachusetts. So of course she's gonna say yeah.
I thought you was gonna say wifey.
Nah. Like, and then to me it's just like that's the thing. And then it's like that, like the communication part. Like it take 10 seconds to respond to a text message and say, I think I might work, or I don't know. Like that's the thing that gets me a little PO, because when you try to set things up, when you try to do things, and then the communication not reciprocated, and then people be like, damn, yo, you never try to hit me up, you never try to do that. What you talking about? I just try to set something up, and I ain't getting no response back to trying to do it, so I went another way. So
for sure,
I don't know. That's just my little anecdote.
Nah, you good. I got a family member just like that. His name is my dad. Where the dude actually he act like he didn't get the invite or he didn't see the text. It's like, bro, you got invited. You got the message. You know what I mean? So, but yo, at the end of the day, hopefully you guys still have a good New Year's Eve. You know what I mean? You get the fam all together. They gotta get back to you though. Tell a fam, yo, check out episode 7. Who asked y'all to, so y'all can respond to that text, man.
I am. I'm definitely gonna do that. Because hey, I don't know what's going on with them. I don't know. But all right, but y'all got our recap of our holidays. We're both healthy. We're both doing good. But we got real spicy, nicey, icy episode for you guys. I'm definitely gonna break it down on how everything's gonna go. So we already gave you the recap of our holidays. And also to the audience, hopefully you guys had a good holiday break as well.
Absolutely.
But first we're gonna talk about we're gonna talk about I can't even read my own hair. The debate. I can't even read my own right now. I apologize. First we're gonna talk about the Newsom and DeSantis debate. If anybody's unaware of that, DeSantis and Newsom. DeSantis is the governor of Florida, and Newsom is the governor of California. They just had a debate on Fox. Fox hosted it. And that's going to be more of Chris's speech, so Chris is going to elaborate on that because he actually watched the debate. I'm going to give my perspective on why I think this debate was a good or bad idea, and then we're going to have a little banter about that. Then we're going to talk about Santos, Congressman Santos out of New York, Republican. We're going to talk about him. He was indicted on some serious charges, and he was also expelled from the Congress floor, which has never happened before. So we're going to give a background information on him, and we're going to talk about him in depth and the charges. Chris is going to elaborate on the charges, what he got charged with, why he got charged with it, and where this is going to play out. And then we're going to talk about Brother Love, Diddy.
Brother Love.
Take that. We're going to talk about him. We're going to talk about the lawsuits. We're going to talk about him settling with Cassie. And we're also going to elaborate on him speaking out about it. He finally spoke out about it after the fourth victim came out.
Yeah, another lawsuit just dropped today, December 6th, as we're recording right now. Another lawsuit just came out today.
So we're gonna dive in on that. We're gonna talk about that, and is he the next R. Kelly? Is he the next predator that the industry knew about, but just didn't do anything to stop it. So we're gonna talk about that. And again, let's just put this out there. Everything we're talking about is all alleged. The Santos, the Diddy, those are all alleged things. Those people haven't faced their day in court yet. They're all alleged. Alleged. This is all alleged.
Everything's
alleged. No conviction, nothing like that. Okay. And then lastly, we got to go back into sports. We got to talk about Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. They have their second matchup of the season, which is coming up next Sunday.
This Sunday? Sunday night.
Okay, this Sunday.
Sir.
Okay, I misspoke. And I'm gonna talk about it. I'm gonna bring in some statistics. I got a lot of notes on the Dallas. I got a lot of notes on Philadelphia. We're gonna talk about them. We're gonna talk about the comparisons between Dak and Jalen Hurts. We're gonna talk about the numbers behind it, and we're also gonna provide some historical aspects to it, and who's pretty much currently winning when it comes to Eagles versus Dallas, who's won in the past, who's lost in the past. So we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna give our opinions on that. So without further ado,
let's go.
Let's get into the Newsom and DeSantis debate. So I'll go first since I didn't watch the debate. I'm going to watch it. Give me some time now. But Chris is very prompt. He's already watched it. He's a good dude on that part, so he'll take that part. But I'll talk about from my perspective on the debate. So I think with DeSantis and Newsom, I think for me, looking at this as a Republican, looking at this from a outside point of view, I don't think the DeSantis should have taken the debate. Point being, right? Newsom is not in any Democratic primary. Newsom hasn't been voted to be the replacement of Biden. Newsom is just a guy from California who happens to be the governor of one of the most liberal states in the country. And I think that this debate, from what I've heard and from what Chris is going to tell us, this debate probably gave a lot of highlights to Newsom. It probably highlighted him very well. Everybody kind of knows already about DeSantis. Everybody knows about what DeSantis' policies are because we already had 2-3 debates in the primaries for the Republican Party. So we kind of already know where DeSantis is at with everything. He's not going to deviate from what he's talking about. He's a policy guy. He's a structured dude. So what he said 4 or 5 months ago is going to probably be the same now. It's not going to really much change because he's a very thorough guy. And I think with him accepting the debate, is it good for him? Maybe. Does it get different eyes on him? Maybe, yeah. But I just don't think it's something that is smart on his behalf. Now, if it was a DeSantis and a Trump, now that's something I would want to keen into. If it's the DeSantis one-on-one with Vivek, that's something I'd keen into. DeSantis and Nikki Haley, that's something I keen into because that's a little bit more on the Republican side, and these guys are actually trying to earn their spot for the primary. That's something I'll keen into. But this debate is like fluff. It's like, yeah, it's good for the political atmosphere. It's good for the banter. It's good for the dialect. It's good for the talking points. But it don't really help you if you're trying to vote for who's my next candidate. You can't vote for Newsom. You can't. We haven't. No one said anything about Biden dropping out or anything. Even if Biden drops out, Kamala takes his place because she's the vice president. So it's kind of like it's just weird. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I don't understand it. But needless to say, I'll stop talking now. That's my point. I'll let Chris talk about the debate.
So it's interesting the points that you made, especially the point being that Newsom is not, as we speak today, even in the running or even really much in consideration at this point for the nominee for the Democratic Party. It was funny because at the intro, I believe it was the intro, I could be mistaken, so if the viewers watch the debate and I'm mistaken, please feel free to correct me.
Right.
But as the debate was beginning, there was a very interesting line by Newsom where he says him and DeSantis are very different. They don't see a lot of things the same, but there is one thing that they both have in common, and that is that neither one of them will be the nominee for their party for 2024. So
that's crazy.
Newsom opened the debate.
That's crazy. That's a big shot. That's a big shot.
he opened the debate by saying neither of us debating tonight will be the nominee for our party. So just off that alone, it was a very interesting debate. It was literally a mini presidential debate because when once you get down to your nominees, you'll see the Democratic nominee and the Republican nominee debate one
Yeah,
another. So you got to see that kind of a sparring type of situation. But in the context of knowing that DeSantis is behind in the polls to Trump
yeah,
and Newsom isn't currently running or a nominee, it just made it almost like a what are we here for type of thing. What are we
right.
doing? What's the purpose of this? That being said, though, I think that DeSantis really challenged Newsom in ways that he might not have been challenged yet up to this point. So I walked away from it thinking that DeSantis was on his game. I walked away from it thinking that DeSantis was on top of his stuff. In hindsight, after and that's the thing too, right? With the debate being hosted by Fox, is you got to understand the realm that you're walking into. And I don't
Right.
know if Newsom really understood that he was walking into a conservative environment. So you're debating DeSantis, which is one aspect of it, but you also have the aspect of a conservative platform that you're being viewed on. And so
But hold on, but he knows that because um he had a whole interview with Sean Hannity on Fox before.
Sean Hannity
So
hosted.
yeah, so it to me, I don't even want to hear that as an excuse because you've already went on a conservative platform, and
Right.
from what people seen, what I seen, you dominated Sean Hannity on his own space. So I don't want to hear that even as if he's going to use that as an excuse. But what I will say is, and I'll let you get back. But from what Newsom said, yeah, that was right in the heart. That was a dagger. But at the end of the day, that dagger that he pointed out is half true, half not, because DeSantis has a chance to be the primary nominee. Newsom has no chance. The Democratic National Committee already said we're not running anybody. It's Biden. That's it. So, bro, you have no chance in heck unless something
And I
happens,
think
unless
that was
something
his point,
changes.
though. I genuinely think that was the point of his comment. Was from his perspective, it looks the same way for DeSantis. Is that you're in the race, but you really
Yeah.
have no chance. The num
Mm,
his big one of Newsom's, to my recollection, one of his biggest points, or one of the highlights of his points, from the night was that DeSantis is even losing in his own home state right now. DeSantis is behind in the polls in his own home state of Florida.
right.
So he was just looking at things in totality to say that, we're here, we're gonna challenge each other tonight, but in the long run, in the grand scheme of things, neither one of us really have a shot at being the upcoming president for 2024.
I mean,
Which was interesting. Again, which was very interesting. Like I said, I think in the context of the debate, I think that DeSantis really put Newsom's back up against the wall.
right,
And then once the facts of things started to come out in the aftermath, you can see that a lot of Newsom's points maybe weren't accurate or maybe weren't correct,
right.
in terms of how he's running
Oh,
California, um, things happening over there with homelessness,
it's
with his
atrocious,
foreign policies, or
atrocious,
potential
atrocious.
foreign policies, with the inflation and gas prices being through the roof in California. I think that, like I said, DeSantis really put Newsom's back up against the wall and challenged the prospect of him running the entire country the way he's ran California. So I don't think that maybe Newsom, in hindsight, was necessary. I mean, he should have been, which is kind of crazy. You should be prepared for those things if you're walking into a debate. But
Right.
I just don't think that, based on their conversation or based on the debate, that he was necessarily prepared to answer those questions at that point. And you're the governor of California, so I'm sure your constituents in your home state have those same questions for you. But um, it was an interesting debate. I would definitely give DeSantis the leg up from that night. Personally,
Okay.
obviously, I'm probably more a fan of Newsom, but I do think that, debate wise, I think that he put Newsom. Ron DeSantis put Governor Newsom in a tough position to answer for a lot of the things happening in California, especially compared to Ron's job in Florida and how he's conducting Florida.
Yeah.
It's like night and day. It's like apples and oranges, So completely
And,
two different things. Go ahead. You were
but
about
I
to say
mean,
something?
I can say that Newsom he solved homelessness in a matter of weeks when Xi Jinping came to visit. All the homeless people would just magically vanish. I don't even know what happened to them. Where'd they go? Nobody knows. As soon as a power comes in to visit our country, the homeless population in San Francisco is non-existent. All the homeless people. I don't know what happened. Where did they even go? What did they do with them? Where did they put them? Nobody knows where they went. So I think Newsom and DeSantis, like you said, they're polar opposites. They're night and day. Literally, like they're like California was the state of you go there to make it. Similar to New York, you go there to make it, be big. Your dreams is possible in California. Now, California is the place you get away from. You get out of there and you go to Texas, or you go to North Carolina, or you go to Florida, or you go to Tennessee. If you want your money to last a lot longer. If you don't want to be walking and stepping on poop in the city streets. If you're trying to get away from fear of being mugged or assaulted by a homeless person, these are serious things that have to be fixed. So, I think you had a lot of things on the noggin when you watched that debate, and you've seen how DeSantis questioned him on a lot of these things that, like you said, people in that state are going to have the same question: why is gas so high? Why are oil prices so high? Why are taxes so high right now? What are we doing? How are we going to bring businesses back into this state? Everybody's leaving.
Right. Yeah. It was a good debate though. They actually wanted to go on longer. They were talking about staying on the stage and debating longer because they had ran out of
Yeah.
time. Ultimately, they decided not to. So hopefully, I like the format. To your point earlier, though, I would love to see two people who actually have some stake in the race, as
Yeah.
opposed to one side that doesn't and another side that does. I don't think it benefits either party, not political parties, but Newsom and DeSantis. I don't see how either of them had anything to gain
Yeah.
from debating one another, because DeSantis still has a hill that he has to climb in his own
Mm-hmm.
party, obviously, with voters from his party. And to your point, Newsom, you're not a factor in this thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was definitely interesting. But I would love to see Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley. To your point, I would love to see
Yeah.
Ron
Yeah.
DeSantis, Vivek Ramaswamy. I would love to see
Yeah.
Ron DeSantis and Chris Christie. Just somebody else from his party that he can, kind of you can get to see him spar with somebody who also has as much to gain from it as he does. So,
Yeah.
interesting, very interesting, very, very good debate. We'll see what comes from it, though. I don't anticipate much, but it was a good TV show.
Okay. Okay. That's good. That's good. I like that. So to your point, right? So do you think? So you said DeSantis came away with the W due to how he cornered Newsom, but who do you think came out? Who do you think gained more from that debate? Who do you think was the? I'm not talking about winning the debate, like winning the talking point. I'm actually talking about, like, if you're looking at it from a broad scheme of things, who
Mhm.
actually was the person you could say, oh, I mean, this guy clearly got more out of this exchange than the other person.
Definitely Ron DeSantis.
Hmm.
Definitely Ron DeSantis. Um, I don't, and I may have to rewatch things, but I don't recall feeling much confidence from Gavin Newsom, and
Hmm.
so I think that Ron went into the debate very confident, very sure of himself, um, knowing his information and challenging the person on the other side of the aisle. So I think that ultimately, when it came down to it, regardless of whether or not who has what to gain, I think that Ron DeSantis walked away looking like the more prepared candidate. to run the country.
Okay.
Which, I mean, for me is a little bit disheartening because I was excited to hear Newsom speak and speak in that forum of a debate. It left a little bit to be desired, though. It left a little bit to be desired. Whereas if I were a Republican voter, I would walk away from that feeling like Ron DeSantis has a lot to offer as far as the party is concerned, especially if you're looking for a Trump alternative, if you're looking for somebody who may have similarities to Trump but doesn't come with the baggage of Donald Trump, then I think that DeSantis walked away.
Very good point.
Yeah, I think DeSantis walked away accomplishing his goal. And so I think it would have helped more, like I said, for if it had been another Republican. But at the end of the day, I think that for the Republican viewers who was watching, I think that they probably walked away from that feeling a lot more confident about Ron DeSantis moving forward. So I think that, if he plays his cards right, I think that it'll have some impact on his polling numbers against the other candidates currently running. I don't see anybody else actively looking to spar or looking to get into any debating. So it was just it was good for Ron for sure.
Okay, absolutely. Good job on that, bro. You tackled a lot on that. So the next we're gonna move on, right? We're gonna transition into Santos. We're gonna talk about him. I'm gonna give the background on him, and then Chris is gonna talk about the allegations and what he's been charged with. So, but a lot of you guys don't know. We're talking about George Santos, who's a congressman outside of New York. He's a congressman outside of New York. He's a Republican congressman, right? So, Mr. Santos, for those that don't know, he's the first openly gay congressman, right? And I have to say that because, he's a Republican. You usually do not see that on the Republican side of them endorsing somebody like that, but that goes to show you that Republicans are embracing a lot of new things, a lot of new ideas, a lot of new people into their party. That's also going to bring a little bit of diversity and also change the party a little bit more to be a little bit more accepting to these type of things. Okay. And looking at his past, he's an avid Trump supporter. He was someone that if they were doing an anti-Trump protest in his state of New York, he would come with supporters and he would protest them out. So he would have a pro-Trump protest, and those guys would be having an anti, and they would just battle. They would battle. So he aligns himself with the Trump ideologies, right? Make America great again. Okay. And also, looking at his background, looking at his past, he is a Brazilian national. He was born in Brazil. And he's had some legal issues in Brazil as well. He had like a fraud case back in like 2008, which he admitted to during an interview. And he's also had some other issues criminally in Brazil as well back in the day. And I'm going back 2008, 2010, way back. These things occurred. And then lastly, what the main thing is, with him, he's the first congressman ever. Looking at this beautiful history of the United States of America, became a nation back in 1776. He's the first congressman ever to be expelled from the House floor. That's never happened before. There's no precedence on it. There's no background on it. There's no, we have an example of this. That's never happened. That's never happened. And I forget, I wrote down what the vote was. I think it was like 312 yay.
311 to 114.
Right, 311 to 114. So that's a lot of people voting saying, yeah, we want this guy out of here. So I'm
just to be more specific on the votes too, for the listeners, that was 206 Democrats and 105 Republicans. Voting in favor of expelling.
Yeah, so it's and then it goes to show you like the Republican Party in itself is a little bit divided, right? Because you have individuals on the Republican side voting to get this man the hell out of here for allegations that he hasn't been convicted of yet. And once again, we're going to say these are allegations because they are. No one's been convicted of these things now. Needless to say, I'm going to turn it over to Chris right now, who's going to give more in-depth information on the allegations and when he was charged and why he was charged.
And just again for the listeners, he did have the support of recently nominated Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, so that says a lot as well to have the support from the Speaker of the House and still ultimately get voted out not just by the Democrats but by over 100 of your fellow Republicans says a lot.
That's
Like
crazy.
Matt said, the precedent hadn't been set for a congressman to be expelled from the House of Representatives prior to even having a day in court. That in itself is a little bit, it may be troubling to some, but I'm reading from the BBC News for the record. In May of this year, Santos was charged with 23 felonies, including wire fraud, money laundering, and theft of public funds. He denies the allegations and is awaiting trial. Among its many allegations, the panel accused him of spending campaign money on Botox treatments, credit card debt, OnlyFans, a platform where users pay for content, including pornography.
Hold on. Bro, did you say OnlyFans?
OnlyFans. He was taking money to
Wow.
pay for OnlyFans.
Wow. He must have a serious problem. And these are all allegations. These are all allegations. Let's remind the audience. All allegations. All alleged.
He was also paying for trips to the Hampton Seaside Enclave in New York.
Wow.
So, two previous efforts to remove Mr. Santos failed after some lawmakers argued it would set a bad precedent to remove someone who had not been convicted of crimes or tried in a court of law. Fellow Republican Jim Jordan, who voted against the expulsion, said to the BBC, "Who's next?"
Wow.
Yeah. So a group of four New York Republicans, by the way, all elected alongside Mr. Santos, had been trying to get him ousted. Says Mr. Anthony D. Esposito, the precedent that is set is that we hold members of Congress to a higher standard. It shouldn't have come to this. He should have held himself accountable. He should have resigned. So,
wow, that's a lot to unpack. So I'm gonna say this, right? If we're gonna go with the accountability thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't hold someone accountable for something that is alleged, because no one knows if it happened or not. The person hasn't been convicted of it. You hold him accountable once he's been convicted. Now the precedents that they set now is if anybody gets charged with something even tiny egregious as that, oh, we can expel him. We expelled such and such a couple years ago. We can do the same thing with this guy. Like, it doesn't make sense. So to me, they set a horrible precedent, like horrible. And what they should have done, they should have just allowed him to just, all right, be on the floor. You know, we're not going to vote you out. But if you do get convicted, you're done. As simple as that. It's alleged. It's all alleged. It's all allegations. You got to let the court of law play out and see what happens. You can't just it just gives me so angry. You cannot punish someone for crimes they didn't commit. Now you're telling me if he would have resigned, they want him to resign. He would have resigned, and then come to find out, everything checked out. None of this came to fruition. It was all false. I was found not guilty. Does he get his job back? No, because he freaking resigned. So I don't know. I think you gotta let these things play out. Now, certain incidents, yeah, like if it's something where it's like pedophilia or child molestation or things like that,
murder,
murder, and there's something that's a little
stuff.
Yeah, that's a little bit different. You might have to do some maneuvering to kind of figure out what you're gonna do. But something like this, you talking about the dude was paying off his OnlyFans account. You paying off
treatments,
Botox and all this other stuff. Like, no one knows that this is real or not. It's all allegations, so we don't know. So I don't know. I think my stance on it is, if it's not egregious enough, and if the person hasn't been arrested for it yet, not arrested but convicted for it yet, allow that person to continue to serve his country. It's all allegations.
Now I will say this. I do agree. It's an ugly precedent to set at the moment because he's not convicted of anything. In this country, we're innocent until proven guilty, and it's important to lean on that at all times. To lean on innocent until proven guilty, because you never want to assume anyone's innocence or guilt. You always want to give people the benefit of the doubt that they are innocent until actually being proven guilty of any crime. That being said, though, I do agree with your point that when the allegation is severe enough, there should be some sort of recourse. And with that being said, I think the allegation of stealing from the people who voted you in the first place is a strong enough allegation to say we should consider his place in Congress, because ultimately, like you pointed out, he's already had a criminal past. He's already been alleged of fraud in different places. So to bring those same allegations to the House is ugly for the House. It's ugly for the House to have a representative in the House who is alleged to have stolen from people who got him there in the first place. You defrauded the people who put you in this position.
Yeah, but it's an allegation, though. He ain't been convicted of it. You don't know. Right?
I feel you.
You don't know.
I totally get that.
Even if we're talking about, you said innocent until proven guilty, right?
Yeah, for sure.
When we utilize someone's criminal past, we already judge them. We already have a bias towards them. So that innocent until proven guilty stuff is kind of already thrown out the window.
For sure.
Right? Even though it happened almost 15, 20 years ago, even though it happened in a different country, because he has that, and you can find it, it's public record. You can find it on Wikipedia, wherever. Because I've seen that, now I'm biased. Now I'm like, oh, this is his MO. I don't know. I mean, that's something that occurred like 15 years ago. I have no idea. So we can't just allow our biases to influence what decisions we make. And I think that's exactly what happened in the House. They allowed their biases to influence the decision they make. And it's the Republican and Democrat thing. It's a tit for tat. This guy's got 23 allegations. We can't get Trump, but let's get this guy. He's a Trump supporter. Let's see if we can get this guy. And it's crazy. Look at like 100+ Republicans voted to get him out of here. That is insane. That is insane. That already is a clear demonstration of how divided the Republican Party is. If you have 100 of your peers voting alongside the majority of Democrats to get this person out of here, that is crazy. That's wild to me. That's like no unity. And I get it. Like you said, he defrauded the people. But it's allegation, though. We don't really know. We don't really know. You never know when these things happen, what's going to happen, or how they're going to turn out. The allegation may sound good as ever. Oh, come to find out, that was fraudulent. Somebody made that up. What are you talking about? How you gonna make that up? So we don't know. We gotta wait and see. Similar to when we see these cases with police killing people. I tell people all the time, look, listen, wait and see. And I know it hurts in your heart. I know it's painful. I know you just see somebody get shot and killed, but you gotta wait and see. Then what comes out? Certain instances, the person was on drugs. Certain instances, the police did conduct misconduct. Now they got to be held accountable. Not every situation is the same. Similar to this, we don't know. Let's wait and see. Oh no, we got to get them out of here. Who's next? Who's next on the chopping block? What are we talking about here, guys? If that's the case, if we're just going, if every allegation, if we're just going to go by every allegation now, this shit, throw away the justice system. Get rid of the innocent until proven guilty. Let's do you're guilty until we prove you innocent. Let's just flip it then. Let's flip it. Because if we're just gonna go off allegations for everything in life, let's flip it. Everybody's guilty. We're gonna prove you innocent. That's much harder to do. Because we already know you did it. You did it. Let's do it that way then. Because it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy.
It is. It is. And it's unfortunate that it had to get to this point. I think that we don't know yet. We don't know what his legal status or what his legal situation is, how it's going to play out. But to the point of just accountability, it's hard to ask somebody to be accountable for something or to because when you get charged with a crime, your lawyers are going to tell you,
be quiet.
Don't say nothing. Don't keep your mouth closed. So I think him resigning and this is just me, being completely non-biased, playing devil's advocate all the way around the board. I think that had he resigned his position, that's in itself is a sign of guilt, right? That's a sign of admission of guilt.
People will say,
And so if you're still fighting a legal case, and it's not like a civil case, it's an actual criminal case, where your freedom is in jeopardy, it's very, very important to, in the public space and in the public face, to always presume your innocence, to always speak towards your innocence. And so had he resigned his position the way some representatives had preferred that he do, it would have instantly, for anybody who looks him up, make them assume that he's already guilty. So
Absolutely.
I totally understand from his perspective, and from other Republicans' perspective, why he wouldn't have resigned his position and why he would have, continued to serve until the legal process played out. Unfortunately, I think he made some enemies along his way, and in politics, you're going to do that. In
Yeah.
politics, you're going to do that. But I think in his case, he may have made enemies in his own party, and which is why he found himself in the circumstances that he did. Which is,
Yeah.
that's on him in the long run.
I mean, we can make a deduction saying, he is the first openly gay, so he could be targeted because of that.
For sure.
The old ways of the Republican Party, that's something they never wanted to
Great
come
point.
out. We don't have gay people in our party. That could be a form of discrimination if you're trying to get this person out. 100 people voted to get him out, and they're in this party. That could be a reason behind it. That old traditional thing, like, oh, this guy's this, that, and the third. But I don't know. I'm just making a deduction based upon the evidence that we have in front of us. But needless to say, hopefully this gets resolved. And, it gets to a point of like, if this person is guilty, punish him to the highest extent of the law. Punish him to the highest extent of the law. I'm a firm believer in, if you guilty, I want you under the jail. Especially if you're a public figure and you're doing this craziness, paying for OnlyFans, doing credit card things, all this fraudulent activity. Throw him under the jail. But if you're not guilty, that man, he gonna have to do a lot of apologizing and kissing butt, because that's just what you wanted to do. But moving on to the next topic. Diddy, Brother Love. We're gonna dive
Puffy.
into this guy. Puffy, take that. He definitely allegations.
Take that.
He definitely was doing a lot of take that. But these are allegations, folks. Allegations. All right. So,
how long you thought of that one?
I just came up with that. So, to dive in it, like, this is his fourth sexual assault, rape allegation that he's had put on him in the past 4 weeks. I want to say 3 to 4 weeks. The first one that was very noticeable, that caught a lot of people by surprise, was the Cassie situation. The allegation, the Cassie civil suit, and the suit pretty much had a lot of gruesome details about their sex life. Had a lot of gruesome details about having parties, orgies, all these different type of things. How she was forced to do this, forced to do that, and it was this, and it was a large cash amount. I think she wanted like $30 million or something like that. 30
it's
like
undisclosed
$30 million
right now. It's undisclosed how much they settled for.
We don't know what the settlement was, but I know the amount that she wanted was like $30 million because of pain and suffering, damages, and everything like that. But what he disclosed for is nobody's never gonna know about that. And the terms and conditions to the disclosure, no one's ever gonna know about that. So we're never gonna know.
All types of NDAs.
Yeah, and you're never gonna know about anything. She's never gonna come. That tell-all book that everybody talking about she was supposed to come out with. That's never happening ever in life. That's never happening. So, the lawsuit came out, and I want to say within a week, it was settled and done. I don't even think it took that long. It was hot fire.
No, listen, the lawsuit was filed on November 16th. The lawsuit was settled amicably November 17th.
Holy heck! So it took one day. It took one day for that because it was, and I think on Diddy's part, I think that was a smart move.
Likewise.
Because if you're a businessman, you're a CEO, you're a face of a lot of companies, you don't want all this type of negative allegations to be hindering you to do business with people, because people are going to say, "But I'm pulling out. Your sponsors are pulling out. All this stuff is happening." So I think it was smart on his move. But now, once you settle with one, others will come. So now you got all these other people coming out, all these different allegations coming out, because if you settle with one, more will come. And I think Diddy, and there's always been rumors about him in the music business, always been rumors about him and things he does. And they're rumors, and I'm not going to expound on them, but it's a long time coming, and it's a lot more that's going to come. This ain't the first or the last. That allegations that are going to come. I think it's going to be a lot more coming. There's going to be a lot of more people coming out that are going to wonder, like, yo, you did this to me, you did that to me, this, that, and the third. Like, these things are going to happen. And I think that the music business in general is going to, a lot of doors are going to be open that people didn't want to be open. But yeah, what you got on that? What you got on that, on the allegation?
You asked the question at the top of the show, is Diddy going to be looked at similar to R. Kelly? And
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here thinking about it now, like, if we just evaluate those situations, right? I'm curious to see how this stuff plays out, because right now all of Diddy's allegations, or all of Diddy's cases, quote unquote, are all civil. They're all civil cases, so
Civil, all
nothing's
civil, no
criminally
criminal,
charged.
no criminal stuff.
Although there are allegations of what can be considered crimes in these
Yeah.
lawsuits, they're all just civil cases. None of them are
Yep.
actually um, legal cases that put him in jeopardy legally of potential
Nope.
jail time or anything like that,
Nope.
as opposed to R. Kelly, where statutes of limitations hadn't gone by, so he could still be charged for
Yeah.
the crimes that he was alleged to commit. So I'm curious, because right now this is all legacy stuff to me. Like, this is just about
Yeah.
Diddy's legacy. It's about his pockets, but it's about, public perception of who Diddy is, who Brother Love is, and how he's conducted himself behind the scenes over the past 2 to 3 decades. Really, yeah, 3 decades now, of Brother Love. Whereas, R. Kelly was, by all indications, actively still engaging in some of these behaviors,
Yep.
still had a lot of these problems to this day. Now, we don't know what Diddy is still doing. Clearly, he's not in a relationship with Cassie anymore. She's a married woman at this point.
Yeah.
And to my knowledge, I believe Brother Love is single. But
And now he with Carisha.
yeah, he's single. But 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 I I am curious to see the ultimately how it plays out, because I couldn't imagine Sean Puffy Combs in a jumpsuit behind bars.
Yeah.
I've I've known about Diddy my entire life. You know what I mean? So to think of him, possibly, and like you said, to your point, it's not like some of this stuff hasn't been touched on. I think we've all
Yeah.
kind of heard or known that Diddy was a little bit of a freak bull. You know what I mean? For
Yeah.
lack of a better term, had some interesting kinks.
And that's fine, bro. Like, that's cool. Live your truth. Be who you want to be.
Right.
If you bisexual, be who you want to be. And I don't even think that's gonna tarnish. If he says, "Yeah, I like to watch," I don't think it's gonna change anything, right? Because at the end of the
Nah.
day, like you said, this is all civil, right? And if and I'm a big proponent of, if you're being raped, sexually assaulted, touched inappropriately, any type of thing like that, go to the police. You gotta get a paper trail. You gotta get a
Please.
paper trail.
Please.
When you go this other route of civil and everything like that, in my mind, and I'm just assuming, oh, you just want money. Because why would you wait 10, 13, 15 years? And I get it. People gonna say the trauma, this, it was hard for me. No, all the evidence is gone now. You have no evidence. It's your word against this person's word. That's it. All the evidence is gone. There's nobody that can corroborate it. Now you're gonna try to seek some money. But when you go the criminal route, then you can put somebody in the jeopardy. Then you got evidence. You got a rape kit. You got witnesses. You got all this stuff. Then I know it's real. Then I know you're not playing games with anything. Then I know, you real when it comes to it. But if you're gonna do this where you come up with civil suit for a certain amount of money after 15 years, I'm gonna be honest. That to me is crazy. I hope I'm not sounding like a a-hole or somebody that doesn't have the wherewithal to understand trauma, because I do understand trauma. I do understand trauma from care. I'm very smart, trained on that. So I kind of understand. I understand the victim mentality, but 10 to 15 years, that to me, you need to have a support system that supports you in these decisions. And being quiet about it, you're never gonna get that perpetrator. You're never gonna get that offender. You're never gonna get that bad person when you wait that long.
Most definitely. And I know it, like like Matt said, we never want to come across as insensitive. I have people that I love to the bottom of my heart who unfortunately have been victims of sexual assault. And if you can go to the authorities, um, we definitely encourage that. It's never going to be easy. It's never going to be something that
Nope.
you probably get over. It's probably going to be something that you carry with you for your entire life. But um, to the point of holding somebody accountable, it can't just be monetarily. If what you went through was serious enough or extreme enough, it shouldn't just be monetarily. We should definitely look for real justice in the form of prison, in the form of incarceration, because
Mm-hmm.
if these are real crimes, when you talk about sexual assault and rape and sex trafficking and all the different things that have been alleged up to this point, um those are all serious, very, very serious allegations. And so we definitely want to encourage anybody who's been in a situation similar to what these young women have been involved in, or to
Yeah.
what we know young women. I think some of the victims have filed lawsuits anonymously as of now, but we definitely want to encourage everybody to seek help, to
Help.
seek help. um go to your comfort space. Rely on people that you're comfortable with to get through these things, and definitely seek out law enforcement. Go to law enforcement when you can, even if you don't go the first day. It's very, very important to reach out to law enforcement, to get law enforcement involved in these situations before things like statutes of limitations are no longer in play. Because we want to get predators off the street. If this dude is a predator and he's been doing this for close to 30 years or maybe longer than 30 years, then we want to have people held accountable. So obviously, prayers and condolences to anybody who's been a victim
Mm-hmm.
of sexual assault and sexual misconduct. But it's never going to look pretty when somebody files a lawsuit. They get X amount of millions, and then you follow up right behind them trying to do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
You got to understand the optics of situations, and so we're not being insensitive. It's just the optics of how everything looks. Like it's not going to look pretty when you're going after somebody anonymously for
Yeah.
a lot of money when you could have probably done this 10 years ago.
Yep.
So 20 years ago. So, like I said, prayers and condolences to everybody involved. You never want to hear about these situations. They always going to be hard to hear,
Mm-hmm.
especially for me personally. It's always going to be hard to hear, but um, it takes a lot of courage, and I totally understand that. But we encourage you to be courageous if you can be. You know what I mean? And brother Love, you got to do better, brother. You got to do better, man. I know he came out
It's
with a statement
allegation.
today.
It's
For sure,
allegation.
for sure, for sure. Everything is alleged. Everything is alleged. You know what I mean? Everybody's innocent until proven guilty. Brother
Yeah.
Love came out and said that he's fighting for his name and for his legacy, and
Yeah.
so I totally get that too, man. If as a man, if you know that you haven't done something, or certain things may have been
You
consensual,
gotta
and
fight.
yeah, you got to fight for your reputation, because at the end of the day, your reputation is all you have, man.
Yep.
It's all you have, and so to just throw that away, Brother Love has built an entire empire over the past 30 years based on his reputation and based on how he conducts himself. So we'll see how it plays out, but I wish the best for everybody involved, man. I hope everybody um hope everybody comes out on the better side of things, and it's obviously both parties. No, somebody's going to end up being disappointed, but
Right.
I hope for the best for all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, same here. I definitely hope the best in the outcome, and hopefully it gets reached soon. And we kind of see what happens with that. And if there's more individuals that have been hurt by this man, come forward, sue him. If your statute of limitations isn't up yet, try to definitely put criminal charges on him, so that way it can kind of hurt him that way as well. But all right, moving past, we're gonna move in a lightheartier note. We're gonna talk about Dallas Cowboys and the
Gotta hit my pen for this one.
Philadelphia Eagles. As you guys know from before, I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. Chris is a Philadelphia Eagles fan. And we butt heads on these individuals, but now we're
we
talking
might
about
butt
the
heads
rival.
right now.
Yeah, now we're talking about the rivalry game, and we're talking about the game that's coming up next week, which is going to be a highly tuned in game. It's probably going to be game of the week because you got the two top contenders in the NFC East battling for that notoriety, for that top spot, for who's the big dog. Eagles already have the upper hand on the Cowboys. They beat us I want to say 4 or 5 weeks ago. We lost to them to a really good game. It wasn't a bad game at all. It was actually a good game on both parts. I wasn't ashamed by the play at all. But we're coming off a 4-game win streak after losing to the Eagles. So we're coming off on a higher end. Philadelphia's coming off of a blowout loss to the 49ers. They're coming off of a lower end. But, there's some good things here. I got some things I'm going to talk about real quick, and then I'll let Chris have the floor. So, with the Cowboys right now, you have, Dakota Rain Prescott, right? And I got to say his full name because I looked at this man's stats, and it blew me away. This man right now has over 3,200 yards passing. Got 26 touchdowns, six interceptions. So he has MVP numbers at this moment. In the last game, Dak threw for about 29 complete. They threw for about 44 attempts. He got 29 completions, had 374 yards, 3 touchdowns, sacked 5 times. But he kept his hand. Now, if we compare him to the Eagles' last game, Jalen Hurts threw 23 times, 17 completions, 2 touchdowns. He sacked 3 times. He has about, right now, Jalen Hurts is looking at about 2,995 yards, 19 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. So his numbers aren't the best right now, but that's really not what matters when you look at these rival games. I mean, he can be 20 interceptions. It's a very powerful rival game. It can kind of go either way. And these are stats from the last Cowboys and Eagles game. I should have made that clear. These are stats from the last Cowboys and Eagles game. Tony Pollard ran for about 12 attempts, had about 51 yards. DeAndre Swift ran for about 18 attempts, had about 43 yards. Now, the guy that I think is going to make another impact in this game, because he made it last time, is CeeDee Lamb. The last game, he had 11 catches for 191 yards. I'm hoping that the same output can happen, but I don't know, because the Cowboys have Brandon Cooks, who's emerging right now in his own right. So the utilization of him, the utilization of Jake Ferguson, who's a tight end that's becoming Dak's favorite target on those second and third downs. So we got a lot of people we can utilize, but it really has to be the flow of the game. Last game you have Jake Ferguson. He caught 7 balls for about 91 yards. On the Eagles side, you got AJ Brown. He caught about 7 catches for 66 yards. You got Devonta Smith. He had about 3 catches for 51 yards. So it was pretty uneven on the receiving end. Cowboys had a pretty better receiving core that game. In that game, you had Dallas at 406 total yards. Philadelphia had 292 total yards. Cowboys are 14 straight wins playing at A&T Stadium. So we have the upper hand there with the home field advantage. Back in the day, when that stadium first got built, Cowboys never won a game in that stadium. That stadium was horrible. I used to hate when the Cowboys played at that stadium because that stadium was everybody come whip the Cowboys' butts and beat them for what they are.
Right.
Like I said, with the Eagles, they lost in a horrendous loss to the 49ers, similar to how the Cowboys lost to them at the beginning of the season. So we both have that L on our record. But the Eagles have done something. They acquired veteran linebacker Shaq Leonard from the Colts. So that's something that may be a positive on their part, may not work out. I mean, we really don't know. But with the loss of the Eagles with the 49ers, a lot of things got exploited. Their secondary got exploited. Their lack of tackling got exploited. Their gaps in their defense got exploited. Maybe Shaq can come in and fit that hole. I don't know. I hope that he don't. I hope he's a bum. Because the Colts got rid of him very, 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 very quickly. But you can kind of see, I got some other things here. The Cowboys, for the first time this whole season, we just beat a team over 500. Woo, go us, Seattle. We just beat them.
And now they're not over 500.
They're not over 500, right? Also in this game, we're coming off of having a 10-day stretch, so we got some rest. The Eagles don't have that same luxury because they just played. So they're going to be coming off of a loss, so they might want to come in and prove something. And then we also can talk about Deebo Samuel, who during that game with the 49ers, he had 116 yards receiving. Now, what people don't know, 115 of those yards came from yak, which is yards after the catch. So that goes to show you that Eagles, their number one thing that they have to work on, or if they want to beat the Cowboys, their tackling has to be up there. They have to figure out if they're going to be able to tackle Tony Pollard, Jake Ferguson, CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks. Because if not, they're going to run all over them. They have to figure that out. So that's me on the Cowboys and the Eagles. I will say for my last point, either way this game goes, it's going to be a hell of a game. I think it's going to either go two ways. It can go to be a whole defensive game where it's going to be a low scoring game. Probably be the most each team is going to score probably 12 to 15 points, or it'll be a shootout where Dak and Jalen Hurts is throwing it back to back. AJ Brown got over 100. Devonta Smith got over 100. You got CeeDee Lamb got over 100. You got Brandon Cooks got over 100. It might be that type of game. It can go either way because it's an interdivision game. It's a very big rival. So I can see it going either way. But yeah, that's my take on the game and what's going to happen. I'll let you go, sir.
I'm so glad that all that Cowboy stuff is over, man. There's a bunch of Cowboy stuff, but I appreciate all the stats. I don't even know where to go, truth be told, because I mean we haven't looked good in spite of the winning. And obviously we got shellacked on Sunday. It was a tough game to watch. We do have the benefit of having a 1-game lead over you guys right now. Obviously, that can change if we lose. At that point, the records are getting. I'm not used to being in this position. It's not an advantageous position to be in. But I gotta call a spade, and our defense has left a lot to be desired over the past couple of weeks. Now that being said, the Cowboys did give up 35 points to Geno Smith, so we're not going to do all that. But you made a great point, though. The Cowboys are coming off 10 days of rest. It's back-to-back weeks where the Eagles are playing an opponent that's coming off of 10 days of rest, as opposed to them playing a regular schedule, a regular Sunday game. So that is something to keep an eye on in terms of how fresh they are. I know the defense did play a lot of plays 2 weeks ago. Who was that against? Was that Kansas City? I believe it was Buffalo, excuse me. 2 weeks ago against Buffalo, the defense was on the field a lot, being as though they went to overtime. So it's something to keep an eye on. Now, Shaq Leonard probably does help out a little bit on the defensive side of things, but he got released for a reason. So we can't sit up here and pretend that he's going to come in here and change life, because the Colts wouldn't have cut him if he were contributing to their team. Right. I would think anyway. So we'll see what type of impact that he can have. I don't think that his impact will be enough to hide the deficiencies in our defense. Unfortunately, we got some issues on the back end of our defense and our secondary. And so it is exploitable, obviously, based on what happened last week. And even to your point, in the game against you guys, when we played y'all a few weeks ago, Dak threw a party on us. Dak threw for over 200 yards on us. Like you said, CD almost had 200 yards. Jake Ferguson almost had 100 yards. So, our defense can be had. With that being said, though, I would be lying if the pedigree didn't lean towards the Eagles as opposed to the Cowboys. The reason the Cowboys lost that game against the Eagles the first time we played was because of the Cowboys, not because of the Eagles, but because of the Cowboys.
It was we couldn't convert in the red zone. I mean, that's been our problem. That's been our problem even in the beginning of the season. It was even our problem when we was facing Seattle. Like we can drive, like Cowboys can drive. We can start at the 25, drive it about 70 yards, get to the 5, get to the 10, boom, and then that's when it becomes an issue because the Cowboys lack that explosive running back. We have Tony Pollard, but he's not Tony Pollard of yesteryear. He's Tony Pollard coming off a serious injury that got paid, and now what do we do with him? You know, he's
Right.
not averaging the yardage that we want him to yard. Like I just gave you the stat. The last game he had, what he had? He had 12 attempts for 51 yards. That's not really. That's 4 point something, 3 point something to carry. But even still, you're not making any impact. You're not getting to the hole and exploiting it. You're not dancing. You're not doing anything to really make a difference. And I think that really is going to hurt the Cowboys because, you know, in football, you want to have a run you can establish. If you do pass, your offense is not going to last. You need you need someone that can run the ball and you can play off the play action to fool the defense. That's simple. That's math. That's football 101. So if you can't establish the run, and it's going to be pass. Now I don't have an issue with pass, but I do have an issue. I don't want Dak throwing the ball 40, 50 times. I like this number here. He threw the ball 44 times, but completed 30 passes. That's great. You know, under that 45 mark, that's perfect Dak football. When it gets more than that, if he's throwing the ball every drive, that's every rep, every snap, that's a problem. And I think if the Cowboys can convert on red zones,
excuse me,
instead of settling for field goals, I think we do have a big chance of beating you guys. But it's a matter of if we get in the red zone 5 times, and out of those 5 times, 2 of them is touchdowns, but the rest are field goals. That's not going to win the game. That's 14 points plus 3 field goals. That's 9. That's not going to win the game. That's like 24 points. It's not going to win the game.
23.
So
yeah.
That's not going to win the game. So this game, you gotta take advantage of the red zone, point blank. Period. I think that's the only way we beat you guys. If we take advantage of the red zone, drive on you, and get touchdowns and not settle for field goals. I think that's the only way we kind of win. And I think with the Cowboys, if we utilize Brandon Cooks early, utilize CeeDee Lamb early, get them hot and quick and ready, I don't think we're going to have a big issue. Now, I will say the one thing with Seattle, and you made a good point, Seattle threw a lot. DK Metcalf had a hell of a game because of the size difference. He's a big receiver.
And if they kept going to him, they stopped going to him for some reason. If they would have kept going to him 9 times out of 10, they could have pulled that game off.
He made Bland look like, who are you?
Scrub.
Yeah, but there's a big size difference though. Bland's 5'11", DK Metcalf like 6'5", 6'6". That's a big boy to cover it. But even still, if you're gonna take the accomplishments and the admiration of being the best corner in the league, shit, you better. It don't matter how big that guy is. You got to play.
Yeah,
you got to play. So I think he got exposed on that part. You know, DK was really giving him that work, and it was just crazy. So I think that can be our weak point as well. With him just getting exploited like that, losing that confidence, even though we won the game, that can be a big thing on a DB, getting 100+ yards put on you. And DK wasn't even running no crazy routes. That man was running like stop and goes and slant routes, like shit, like easy stuff. Like he wasn't doing no crazy shifty stuff at the line and trying to lose.
Nah, he wasn't. To your point though, that's going to be a lot of what they see this weekend. They're going to see a lot of slants from AJ Brown. They're going to see a lot of go balls to AJ Brown. So, and he's going to be matched up with AJ Brown. You know what I mean? So it's, you know, it could be a long day for him against AJ.
Yeah.
I know AJ didn't have a big game the first game, but they're going to put an emphasis on getting the ball to AJ Brown and getting the ball to AJ Brown early and often because that's their best offensive weapon. Yeah. Hopefully the Eagles can establish a run game. I'm speaking from the Eagles' perspective here. Hopefully the Eagles can establish some sort of run game because we've struggled all year long with running the football for whatever reason. Last year we were a great running team, and this year we've taken a step back in terms of our running game. Our offensive line doesn't seem to be as dominant as what they were. Tush pushing all of that aside, just doesn't seem like they can get the same push with the ground game the way they do or the way they did last year. So that's going to be an important thing for the Eagles this weekend is to get the ground game established, run the ball, establish the run game, and work off that run game. Way more successful when we incorporate the run as opposed to just putting the game solely on Jalen Hurts' back and asking him to go out there, like your point with Dak, and throw the ball a bunch of times. That's not his game.
Right.
So it's going to be a good game, like you said. It's going to be an interesting game. I don't foresee another blowout the way it was against San Fran. Although that potential is there. Dallas, when they win, other than the Seahawks game, when they win, they usually win by big numbers. Y'all usually put a beating on most of the teams that y'all played this year. Obviously, none of those teams have been over 500, with the exception of Seattle. But um, y'all have looked pretty dominant in y'all wins, and kind of pedestrian in y'all losses. So I think that you guys have blowout potential. That being said, I don't predict a blowout. Right now, the spread is 3.5. Cowboys are favored by 3.5. Home team automatically gets 3 points. So
Right.
they really are kind of favoring you guys by a half a point right now.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be a good game. I think it'll be an interesting game. It's important for the Eagles to bounce back this week. We got beat down last week. It's just no way around it. No way around it whatsoever. We got beat down.
I love hearing you talk about that.
It is what it is, man. Like I explained to everybody, the beauty is you're still in first place in the conference, but you know, definitely need a bounce back game this week. It's going to be extremely important to bounce back, to recover from that loss. It feels crazy even saying that because we only lost twice this year, but yeah, you got to come back from that loss. Got to wash that taste out your mouth
Yeah.
and come back confident. This is a team that the Eagles beat already, so you have the benefit of saying we got a W against these guys. We know we can beat them, and so there's no reason to not be able to win this game. But the Cowboys are playing for a lot this week too. The Cowboys are playing to get back in first place, or to at least get tied for first place. And there's still a possibility for the Cowboys to get the 1 seed. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. And I
it's a
will say
lot.
this. If we do beat you guys, like it's a big if. If we do beat you guys, there's no other team that's going to stop us. So if we
What's your
do get
schedule look like the rest of the year? Who y'all got the rest of the year?
hold on, let me
Might be
double
some
check
L's
that.
on there.
No, bro, don't be disrespectful, man.
Y'all got the Bills. Y'all got the Dolphins. Oh, come on, man. Y'all got the rest of y'all season is tough.
Yeah,
Outside of Washington, y'all play
Bills and
Washington the last
Bills
week
and
of the
Dolphins
season.
and Lions. Lions got exposed.
Yeah.
I'm not really worried about them, but I'm definitely worried about the Dolphins because that 1-2 punch they got with Waddle and Tyreek Hill can be very powerful.
They got a good backfield too. Most
Yeah,
of the A-chain. They got a good backfield.
So we got a little bit of tough road ahead, but I'm telling you right now, if we beat you guys, that is something that will make my heart so happy because
you sound like the 49ers now.
no, not even that, bro. I mean, you know me, I'm humble when it comes with that. I watched the game. I watched the Cowboys and Eagles at Eagles fans' house. So I'm not. It is what it is. But I'm just saying for me, this is something that if we win this game, and I'm not trying to say Super Bowl or anything like that. I'm just saying it looks brighter than if we lose this game. If we lose this game, the hopes kind of diminish a little bit more. Even though we'll still have a pretty decent record, it's still not going to be something where I'm going to be like, oh, damn, even though we lose this game, the next week is going to be even harder because we face the freaking Dolphins. So it's not going to be easier. So I think we both have a challenge. Both teams have a challenge. And it is what it is. One has to be the winner.
For sure.
Like you said, we only favor half a point because we get 3 because we home team, but we also on a 4-game win streak. So y'all got a lot to worry about when it comes to us. And also, we'll see what Michael Parsons. We'll see what Michael Parsons does. We'll see what Michael Parsons does, and see if he can get some sacks because he ain't really been hungry like that. I don't know what the hell's going on with him. Every time we have these beautiful defensive ends that can do damage, it's like they take a couple weeks off, and it's like, what the hell happened to you?
He's too busy podcasting like me and you, man.
yeah. I'm like, and so I don't know, man, but we'll see if he can get it together. I miss the old days of what's the one dude's name we used to have him, the defensive coordinator,
Marcus Ware.
Yeah, like man, what man? And that guy, he was an animal, man. animal on the right side, bro. Like you didn't. It wasn't even an issue. You already knew he was going to get a sack or two, or even if he didn't get sacked, he was going to be in the backfield. He was going to be somewhere putting pressure on the quarterback. Michael Parsons, it's like his allure of him being of last year has like kind of dissipated this year. It's like he's doing what DeMarcus Lawrence did after he got paid. DeMarcus Lawrence got paid. He got all that money. Got a $100 million contract. That next year after, his sack numbers was like poop. Like that year, he came off of getting all that money. He had like 11, 12 sacks. The next following year, bro, and his years afterwards, ain't never been the same as what it was. And now, I mean, with age and attrition, he's not going to be able to produce those numbers. Even now, he might get you like 5, 6 sacks a year, but that's not cutting it. So I don't know. That's my take on the Cowboys and Eagles. I'm done talking about them guys, man.
It's gonna be a good game. Let's go Birds, baby. Let's go Birds. That's all I got.
Cowboys, Dallas. But all right, but yeah, this has been. I hope the audience, if you guys stay tuned, please, root for the Cowboys. We need it. Oh my God, that was funny. That was funny, man. But yeah, this has been another beautiful, excited, spicy episode with your boy M.Dot and my brother Chris. We signing off this joint. Peace and love to y'all. Happy holidays. Chris, what you got for him, bro?
Hey, that's it, man. Happy birthday, Ami. Shout out to you, Big Mama. But yeah, we back. We back. You know what I mean?
Back.
Listen, we took a little time off to get right. We back. We done got our holiday food in this. Christmas is around the corner. We back. So we appreciate all the support. We appreciate all the feedback. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe on our YouTube channel. Make sure you follow us on Instagram. Who Asked Y'all To on Instagram. You can follow our personal pages, Chris Porter on my Instagram, and _Lim18 for my brother's Instagram. But make sure y'all stay tapped in. Make sure you turn on post notifications so you can get updated whenever we release an episode. Check us out. We'll be on Spotify soon. So if you get your podcast on Spotify, make sure you check us out on Spotify. Wherever you get podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcast, and make sure you keep on staying tuned in with us because we're not going nowhere. We might take a little break here and there, but we'll be here with the content for you guys, giving our perspective, our unsolicited opinions on all the topics that we come with every single week. We really, really appreciate the feedback and the support, like I already mentioned. That's it, man. Listen, we back. Episode 7, Who Asked Y'all To? That's it.
Peace out, y'all. Peace and love.
Peace.